Shiva Lochan. How about the people on the floor?
Once again, good morning. I'm very grateful to Professor who just flew in from National Cultural Commission to be joining us. Thank you, sir, for being here. And all of my young students, young relatives, and family members. Well, I have been asked to reduce the size of the load on your mind today. So I'll be trying to show you some slides and talk some basics about my presentation. It was for 45 minutes. But I'll make it up in 15 to 20 minutes because I've been told you're late, and when you're late, you don't get lunch. So I thought I should not take risk on losing lunch, so I'll be short. I promise you. As you see in my small abstract put in your program book, positioning India and South Asia, I've used a very non-traditional word, extinct or extended. What does it mean? In many ways, when you travel around Southeast Asia, Asian countries, you'll find that you find many types of non-alien terms and terminology. I say non-alien, which sounds alien but looks non-alien. And you don't know the origin of those things, but at the same time, you feel very comfortable with them. This is the history of 4,000 years, which you have shared with us. How it has been? Is it completely gone, or is it still to be renewably used in our daily life for our common heritage of ancestors which we have? These are the thoughts which I have tried to raise in this presentation of ethics. You can find that in the past, India and South Asia has been found commonly studied by scholars from Western world, almost for 200 years. They used their own colonial prism to study India in South Asia, and they had done some kinds of analysis on the basis of their knowledge. Of course, they are very valuable to understand the past of India in this part of the world, but at the same time, I believe that the local scholars like you all are the best judge of the systems of customs, rituals, life and practices. Those were the days in early 16th, 17th, 19th century and 20th century also, when you have and when you see the writing in Spanish, German, Portuguese and also later on French and English. Those writers have done a tremendous job to collect the data and put their own words and analysis. But again, as they were innocently trying to put the picture, they still appear to be slightly prejudgmental at many cases, like when they will use certain terms and terminology of the words used in statecraft, they would try to locate in one particular region of India without knowing that this word was already available in many other regions of the areas. So this is my humble request and understanding to share together with you, that the time has come up to emphasize the local genius, what we call in social anthropology of critical theory. Local genius has to be involved in understanding your own culture more than many of us from other part of the world. So we have now seen a great change in the modern times. Now there's a new awakening in and around this part of Asia. And when this is happening, you can feel that the Western powers have been going down in several ways. But as you know, most of the time we are reading and studying about the down and ups, only on the business economic growth, but which are not exactly the parameters to be decided to understand the situation of the situation of downfall. This means that Indian impact, which has been available with us in this part of the world is a subject to bind with Indian Ocean communities. Because we are connected with the Indian Ocean communities, you will find that we have certain channels of connection which made us known in this area of Philippines also. Unfortunately, there has been no great writings on the areas of Philippines. We have lots of fascinating writings on Cambodia, also on Thailand, and of course on the islands of Java and Sumatra and Bali. But there was very little attention to Filipino culture in the sense of if there is only one culture or the ideas and practices. Somehow, in last 100 years, there have been some regular studies. I remember Professor Juan Francisco, who passed away 2 years ago, was a great friend of mine. He had pioneer work on this Indian connection with South Asia, specifically referred to Philippines, literature, drama. And remember, I'm talking about this all in pre-Laguna discovery days. Laguna inscription, as you know, is a benchmark for studying your history with pride. Not because there is some kind of copper piece coming from South Indian connection writings, not because of that. But it says about that you have a system of life in Philippines where you knew how to rule, where you knew how to run an administrative setup, where you knew how to work for the public. This is not only a simple token of copper piece, which is called a copper inscription. It's more than that. So you have to go beyond the inscription to know in what setup. Because it is completely pure local production, no doubt about that. Scientifically it has been proved since 1989. And this means that you knew how to have a system of life, which can be as good as grand as you can call modern system of life, of administration, culture, religion, and behavior of that. And I just quote some lines from here that we have to understand, first of all, Southeast Asia and in general Asia, how this cultural transmission has happened. The transmission of Indian culture, as I was just referring to, comes across to 435 places till the date in South Asian waters. 435 places. Major places where we have found some connection between India and Southeast Asian people. And all of these, we have to see the aspect of life which affects in the region. As I said right now, statecraft, religious behavior, cultural matrix, practices of your daily life, system of marriages. The way you throw rice while you are getting married is a very ancient practice from India. Without knowing India, you know you're doing India. And similarly, the understanding of astronomy, you know Lahu more than we know Rahu in India. There are many aspects of these connections we find. No school of area is left untouched. And remember, I am talking about the age when there was no internet, no Facebook. In spite of those no Facebook, you can find the Indian seafarers traveling down to the remote South Mindanao. If you see the travel movement, it's not a joke. In those days, if you have seen geographical size of the globe on map, the 10-degree channel area of water comes in between. Even 10-degree channel water area still is jumping in even modern times. Big ships avoid that. Those jumping sites of the geographical location coming in between India and South Asia, people still came and crossed to this area without Facebook. They were real brave, saluting people who had done a great connectivity between the area. And not only they came, they settled down, they became part of you. This becoming part of you is unique in the history of mankind. Because it was not a situation introduced on your life by putting some sort of pressure that you have to follow. Because all ideas of India, when they came to your country, your other regional locations, they all followed and gave full scope to the local system and belief. So they were incorporated together. They were not like planted with that. It was like a beautiful sapling of a plant rather, where you have so many leaves and green leaves and flowers coming out of there. So this was the admixture which was completely done in every case in South Asia. Sorry, what is happening here? In Southeast Asia, the legal expression is the connecting factor. I say, from Pew in Burma to Papua via Lancaster to Laguna, you find those connections. I was very pleased this morning when the man was singing and they were writing the script. They call Kalintan script, am I right? How many of you can read here? Can you raise your hands? How many of you? I could read it at least 30% because they have some Indic connection. I could read my name's spelling by going through that, and I was trying to verify from the writers is it correct or not. See the connection, how far you come and you learn, and that doesn't mean it is 100% Indian. They give local touch to give more ornamentation. That ornamentation is the beauty of the area. That is the area, that is the contribution I salute. Because you have not only taken, you made it much better and good in shape. I can give you one or two examples from South Asia. You know, there are words from Sanskrit language. I'll give you a chart just now, what is available in Philippines. There are many words of Sanskrit origin in the entire South Asian nations area. Entire globe. They have used it in Cambodia in several royal inscriptions. And they use some metaphor. They have used certain kind of meter, which are not even found even one reference in India. So they not only learned, but they did develop their own skill in creating those metaphors, meter writing, and creating those ornamentation. So this is not a system of adoption, adaptation, syncretism, but accommodation also. Hinduism and Buddhism was, the two religion has been a part of the growth of the area as you see in other parts there. One fascinating story of Rama and Sita, the Ramayana story, has been the most fascinating stories in the history of mankind, because you see, even in the remote islands in Southeast Asia, you find them. You find them not only in Asia, this but also in Central Asia, Uzbekistan. You find them also being referred to in Central Asian Silk Route zones in different languages. This is unique. How one story of good winning over evil, how the story of a kingly justice to the people has touched the heart and mind of people throughout this part of the world. This is amazing. Of course, there are fracturing of the topics inside here and there. There are certain local spices added to make the curry very beautiful. I will call Ramayana story being a very good curry which can become important to your taste and flavor because you use your own local spices. So sometimes as an Indian scholar I have seen, they feel, wow, they have changed the main story here and there. Why? Because in the Indian story, you find Hanuman, the monkey god, as the person who is the most celebrated on this earth, who never looks at the face of a girl, who always goes bowing down and sees only the earth and soil. Maximum he has seen the finger of the feet of Sita. That is his celibacy, which is celebrated in Indian literature. But when you enter Southeast Asia, when you enter Philippines, Hanuman becomes a very funny character. A character in South Asia, young girls fear. They are afraid that he will make them mother. See, from celibacy status of Indian Ramayana, Hanuman becomes a romantic character where all young women run away by his side because he is always chasing girls. But these variations are important. They have importance. You know, the story of any presentation on stage, dance and drama becomes attractive when you have certain kind of gesture. Some kind of subplotting of the story that makes people bound to the story. Similarly, this has been in the case of South Asia. Well, it is very difficult to make in 15 minutes. I'm just skipping, you can see. I just come to highlight a little bit on India and Philippines. Iron Age, which is believed to be 4000 BC in Philippines, we have found certain beads which are from South India. Carnelian beads were brought in from India, it has been scientifically proved. So since then, Iron Age time onwards, we had a connection with India. And when I say Iron Age, it's a very vague term because Iron Age generally is 2000 and less than 2000 BC. So it's 4000, around 3400 years back. Till 10th century BC, you find a regular connection with Tamil Nadu in South India. And at the same time, Buddhist monks were also travelers coming to your part of the world. We have found largest number of Mahayana deities, bronze images in South Asia, only in the Philippines. Mahayana, Tara. Tara is a goddess in Buddhism of Mahayana and Vajrayana. We find the highest number of images in this country. In later centuries, South Asian scholars have been influenced by one place of university called Nalanda in eastern India, where people were coming up. Now, when I was talking about the movement of those Jesus Jones in the sea waters, people coming from India or people going from here to India, it was a boat-way traffic. Who were the ship builders? Who were the boat makers? Recent discoveries I saw today in some of your collection in the museum in the university. I have seen in other museums of South Asia. People of Philippines were the great boat makers. In India, we don't find the tradition of good boat makers. We don't find. We don't find the skill of making boat of large size, which we find archaeologically in Malay world also. So in Malaysia, in Indonesia, and to a certain extent in Palawan area of the Philippines, there were great ship builders. So Indians used to enjoy traveling on a ship made by you. So it is not that we were giving everything to you. We learned, we got many things from you. So he had those facilities which was important for developing a relation between them. In 16th, 17th century also, when Spain was trying to enter this land, Indian community of Western India called Gujarati people, they were here already doing trade stations. And those trade stations were not only meant for Philippines, they had interconnection with 45 places in the globe, from here via India to Central Asia to South Africa also. 17th century, they had already established a network of traders. In colonial period also, as you know, Sepoy, Indian soldiers were left out by British. If you go to Kaita area, I had a chance to go last year with Albert, who forced me to go there, a 3-hour drive at night. And I remember, Kaita is a group of people from India who have been disbanded by British Army and sent back to leave here and then die without any facilities. But those Indians living in Kainta and other areas, I am told, they do still have certain kind of practices of Indian system, but at the same time, they do not know any more Indian languages. They are much more Filipino in any sense. Now I just cut across to come down to say some of the words from different languages of the country which is connected to India, and they are not only Sanskrit but also Tamil. Many of Tagalog words, I have been told 20% of the Tagalog words are from India. These are some of the samples. The guru is the word which you find everywhere. So I am called guru in the teaching community among students. And dukkha is very important because many of you suffer now from dukkha, of broken heart. Being broken heart is a dukkha. Being a condition of having no money given by parents to go to school and college is also dukkha. So there are many dukkhas. Similarly, we have the first literal translation of Facebook called mukha. Mukha is face. So this mukha book is very much well known in our culture. In every part of India you know that. And as your country is trying to prepare yourself to have much more original name of the ancient time, Maharlika, and the Maharlika word also comes from India. Maharlika. The Lika is Likha, that's for writing. Lahu, Rahu, Tala. Tala is a changed version of saying Tala. Okay? So, this is in Tagalog. And I come to your territory now. Karma is karma. Karma has become popular by British movies and Hollywood stars, they use the word karma. Is karma is the same. Damla is divine law. That is from Dharma. Mantala is mandala. Upaya is power. Lupa is rupa. Fesa, mukha has another word rupa, which you speak like lupa. So there are many words. I don't take you more time. So in Cebuano also I have found some words. Budaya, Baya, Devata, Gadya, Puasa, Saksi. I don't disturb you more. Tausu, Suara, Neraka. These are the words of Indian words. Ibang, also you find Karai. Karai is a cooking pan, which is an Indian word. Karai. Now, there are the common words in all Filipino languages, there are many languages. Sutla, Kapas, Naga. These are three words you find in all the languages of your country. Now, coming to the modern times, I wanted to connect why we should be important to us in this area. I want to say a little bit about these are the people from Indian origin living in Philippines in past 100, 200 years. I could search only some of the names. Filipina beauty queen, Venus Raj was Indian. Filipina another beauty Janina and Dardo Versosa. These are the old stars, maybe some of the old people will be knowing. But some of the names are, I could not Google out many pictures. So except Ramon Bhagat Singh, I think Bhagat Singh family member is here today. She's sitting there. Are you connected with Bhagat Singh family? And Venus Raj, I could find some. So there are many areas where we have many connection of that. But what I need to say, this is a poster I collected from New York. There was a stage drama happening by a Filipino group a few years back. And they're showing the story, one part of Ramayana story in this presentation, Raja, Mangadangiri, that was the show. I took a picture 3 years ago and luckily I'm able to use that today. And last 2 points. Who spread these kind of relationships? I will say not only people of trade and some religious community group, but also say only one word, we both did it. We both did it. Without doing the debate, who did first? It's not a story of chicken and egg. We all are eggs, we all are chicken. Had you not taken us in your arms, we could not have survived here. So this is a two-way process. I will go for that rather than too many theories. Buddhist, Burmese or Hindu, whoever came, this dynamic of borrowings have been possible because even not only recipients but also changes, giving new direction to the ideas which you have from India. And to cut short, let me remind you 2 important points before I end the day for this keynote. Our Asia, their Asia. This is the time you have to understand now. Now this is an area and time when we are suffering from new political development around us. Philippines is growing economically as a superpower very soon. This is not a good news for many. I will use for them the term they, and for you I will use the term us. So the difference between them and us has to be understood by youth today. You have to be much more nationally connected and collectively responsible for the development and protection of your culture and your past beautiful heritage of 4,000 years. This is the way you have to learn the new idea how to protect those not only monuments but also intangible heritage like writings, words and scripts. So here you must know how Asia has been seen, taken and talked about by others. You have to understand that. Now, where is my police? Mr. BJ, I have still 2 minutes. I will give you example why Asia is called Asia. Asia is called Asia by the name found in Greek language Asio, and Asio was the name and the area which was meant for trading girls from this part of the world to them. See, this is the approach of seeing Asia. So they found girls to be taken from here in those Greek days. So the name Asia came by that meaning. So for them, as you see, many of people from our areas, many of our girls, whether they are from Philippines or India, in Kerala, Professor Joseph is here, they suffered a lot by serving in Dubai and other areas of the world. They serve hospitals, they serve humanity. But the approach of treating them is not less than what we have found in Greek literature 3,000 years ago. They call Asio, and the Asio becomes Asia. We are supplier of girls. Shame on them to think like that. We have given them the motherhood. Many of great leading people of those countries being rulers, they would not have been born if there was no Filipino midwife. This has to be remembered in our life. Our understanding will never be that what we have found, because they have other types of understanding of Asia and meaning of Asia. And I mentioned here, since then our innocent women have been treated shabbily, be it Filipino or Thai or Indonesian, and even recently now Khmer girl being exported to some parts of Europe and Germany especially. India was brutally colonized and made almost collapse financially in almost 200 years long British rule. A major Southeast Asian region misnamed as Indochina, where tangible cultural properties of ancient Europe were looted or even showcased in huge visitors' living room of these colony masters. And the reason, as our region was branded backward, illegitimate, unholy, displayed, and the notion of white man's burden, it was known by then that it is the burden of the white man to civilize us. How can you civilize the people of Guru? You have a traditional knowledge system in your country, in other parts of South Asia, which have very strong, rich knowledge of tin, metallurgy, growing rice, growing all sorts of poetry and poetry development. These are the highlights of any civilization in the world. With these words, I don't take time because the time has come when we have to be together. Protect yourself. Your protection is my protection. My protection is our protection. That's why never use the word you as you, but as we. Thank you so much. The last time, he who does not look back, ang hindi marunong lumunod sa pinang dali na hindi na